I bet. So moving on to some other things, it's like a random thing, bro, that I just wanted to talk about. Just because I saw a video that I saw, and it reminded me. Kodak had a moment on stage as well. I think last night that he brought King Combs out for their song "Can't Stop, Won't Stop." And then I just saw their video. Song's fine. Like I appreciate the homage to Little Kim and Biggie's song, or maybe a little bit Little Kim and Caesar's song from back in the day. The song got 2.4 million views
on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah. So it's been out for like a week, or I think like not even a week yet. And it's like, is that the power of Kodak, or are people actually like fans of King Combs? So I wanted to ask like your thoughts on that, because I'm thoroughly confused.
It's interesting that you brought it up, because I was actually just online kind of reading up on music streaming and things like that. And I don't know, you'd be surprised, I guess, at how many of these artists, not necessarily fake streams, but like will buy ads. Mm-hmm. I don't know to what extent they do that, but I definitely see ads from like popular artists from time to time. So I feel like when I see those stats, like regardless of how high or low if it's a really high number or unexpectedly high number, I kind of question if like the label, bought half those views or what the case is. I definitely think it's, if anyone's responsible, 100% Kodak.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think anyone's really checking for King Combs. I think he makes good music, but like I haven't literally heard anyone be like, yo, check out his mixtape or his album or whatever the case is. Like I just kind of see him around with like Chris Brown here and there, or doing like a cool like kind of throwback ish like modernized version of some shit that was in the 90s.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all I've like heard from him. I don't even know what he does outside of that.
Yeah, he's always dancing, like his dad. He's just always fucking dancing. Which again, he's like, dude, me and my boy were texting about this like yesterday. Like, yo, like if we die, I want to come back as King Combs, bro. Like King Combs has been the shit since he's like 1 week old. You know what I mean? Like his life has been phenomenal, right? So shout out to him. But yeah, to your point, like it has to be Kodak, bro, because Kodak can do this video with King Combs just to get that bad boy check and be cool with Diddy. But then Kendrick can bring him out on his album and it all makes sense, right? I feel like there's like Kodak's in a spot right now where he can do no fucking wrong. So, yeah, but how do you feel about King Combs' music? I'm not even cutting you off, but how do you feel about King Combs' music in general? Like, do you enjoy that throwback, like just trying to recreate it? Or do you feel like it's kind of like, all right, bro, but you're trying too hard to sound like your dad and what your dad was doing?
Yeah, this will be a good talking point too later once we get to like Heat of the Week and stuff. But I enjoy it, but it's not really my style. Like I don't like the kind of cheap nostalgia play. Like Saweetie, for instance, like I think all of her most popular singles are just samples from the 90s and 2000s, like my Type and the Blow the Whistle Too Short one. I think that's the one, right?
Yeah.
And after a while, it just gets old. It's like, all right, now you just make me want to listen to the old shit. Like, it's cool if you do that occasionally.
Yeah.
But like, if your whole niche is just redoing and reliving those moments that your dad and other people are part of, I just think it's not going to be creative enough to stick for the long term, personally.
Yeah, and that's also like my criticism that I think I've mentioned the pod before any of the Tory Lanez shit went down with Megan. Like, I didn't really fuck with Tory that much because I'm like, bro, like all these chinks is like, bro, like at some point, like what do you do, right? Yeah. I get you can sound like other people and it's creative, but what do you do, bro? Like, what do you sound like? Because I don't know what your sound is. That's how I feel at times with Tory. But yeah, dude, I agree with King Combs. Again, he's like 21, 22, like child, or I don't know if he's 20 or whatever, but he's a kid. Clearly, there's some talent there, right? Because he had a song on the Pop Smoke album, Diana. I think that was actually very good and very catchy that I enjoyed. But yeah, I would say 95% of what we're getting is, oh, your dad had this song? All right, let's make the song 95% exactly the same, but slightly different with some modern day references. And it's like, bro, like, I don't want to hear a fucking 12-track album of that. You know what I mean? Like, I can just go listen to Bad Boy Forever and be good with my life. You know what I mean? So like, that's what
Right.
I think the struggle for him specifically will be later. But again, in my mind, like, does he even care? Right? Like,
Right. That's why I feel like he probably doesn't.
no, like, why would you? Like,
Yeah. And I mean, I do appreciate the fact that it's kind of a change of pace from the stereotypical like street shit we always get from every new rapper, basically. I feel like he makes good, fun, like pool party music.
yeah, pool party.
Basically.
Yeah, that's a great phrase. But again,
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, we can go back to like a bunch of different things, but like to the Jack Harlow thing, maybe comparison. But like at some point, I think there's gonna come in a time in his place in his life. Sorry, that he's gonna be like, all right, but what am I doing this for? Like, am I just because like, personally for me? And again, I don't want to criticize a child, right? But just from the sake of just music and the artistry, you're just like a caricature. Like that's all you are. Like you're a bad boy puppet, right? Like daddy loves you, which is dude. And again, anyone would be envious of his position. This is not an envy thing. I'm just saying, like, dude, you're just like, hey, we want to have bad boy live on forever. So, all right, son, you look just like me. Here's a bunch of money. Here's the best producers. Just go do all these things, right? And it's just like, all right, man. But at some point, don't you want to figure out what you can do? That's why kind of like, I know Jaden Smith has kind of fallen off these last couple of years, but like,
brought that up.
He's phenomenal. Like he was different, bro. He could have just been the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 2.0.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, bro, I want to make different music. I want to be my own artist. I'm like, yo, I respect that so much more because there was risk with that. Like, there's no risk with this. Like, you're a bad boy artist. It's 2022, but you're still making songs we enjoyed back in 2001. It's like, all right, bro, but like, I don't want to hear this shit anymore.
Right. And I will say, I think that with Jaden, at least he had what, like 4 songs he could have recreated before nothing would be recognizable for Will Smith, essentially. Yeah. But I feel like King Combs is definitely pigeonholing himself if he's gonna kind of thrive off the nostalgia factor. And I know there's some other rappers who've done it from time to time. It's cool again if it's like a one-off remix or something,
right?
Just to showcase your versatility or whatever. But when that becomes your whole thing, like there's no long-term game in that because there's only so many songs you can possibly do before you run out and have to do your own original kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the main here. But at some point, you're gonna have to be original. But again, dude, good for him to ride the wave. At the end of the day, he can say he was a part of the closing act at Rolling Loud 2022, and people were clapping for him, right? So like, dude, that's still a fucking. Again, I don't want to poo-poo his moment because again, whatever the numbers are very high for him right now. So good for him. I just don't see how this, to your point, is a long-term vision. It's just like, yo, like, you're fucking old enough. You can start cursing now, but still keep it exactly what your dad was doing, 25 years ago.
Yeah. And speaking of caricatures, I was going to ask, like with Kodak, I wonder what it seems like he has this indescribable and unexplainable wide appeal across hip hop. Like he's not just mingling with the street dudes. And I don't know if it's because he's like, I don't know, the epitome of like a hood nigga who goes through trials and tribulations 24/7, and they're just like, we got to fuck with him and put him on. Like, I don't know where all these cosigns are coming from.
Dude, but like even like Barstool cosigns, like, you know what I mean? Like you would think, like, not to be a dick, but you would think white America would be terrified of the idea of a Kodak Black being successful. And he's like thoroughly embraced by them. You know what I mean? So
I just hope it's not the whole we're laughing at him and not with him type of thing, like, oh, he's just dumb street dude who's gonna say wild shit, let's put him on.
Yeah, but that's where I think it is. I think it is that to a certain extent, but then you have to respect him because when he actually gets on the mic, he's not just a dumb street dude, right? He actually says shit that you're like, yo, fuck, dude, how did you even think about putting that shit together, right? So I think the smart comes through in his lyrics, whereas I think like some people who are caricatures, like Yachty, right? I think there's moments of Yachty's like career where like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing? That's why, like, not to go on a Joe Budden rant because I look like him, but like when Joe Budden went off on him, that was his biggest. It's like, bro, you're smart. Like, what? Like, why are you on the mic saying the dumbest fucking shit? And I think it's like in reverse for Kodak. It's like, bro, like, I'm gonna be silly and dumb as fuck in these interviews. But bro, like, when I get on the mic, this shit's like, I take this shit very serious. Serious enough for one of the GOATs to be like, yo, you're gonna be on like 4 songs of my album. You know what I mean? Like, that cosign's crazy. And I don't think you get that cosign and people actually think you're dumb. I think initially maybe, but like, yo, when he's on the mic, it's like, bro, like, you can't, you're like, yo, is that really Kodak, bro? Because I just saw you in the interview, guy like a fucking idiot, but apparently like you spit crazy shit that I would even think that you would even know how to put certain words together.
Maybe he has ties we don't even know about, because I mean, Trump did pardon him, and
yo, facts.
I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? That shit still confuses me, but who knows?
Yeah, but I think that point, Trump was so fucking desperate for the black vote that he's like, bro, I'll fucking release anyone. Just name a name, bro. Like, name a name and they're out today.
Yeah.